Hello everyone, I just made it here to my hotel room in Northwest Georgia. Before I go any further, I would like to say thank you to all of my viewers, whether you are a new subscriber, whether you are watching this video for the first time, whether you are an old subscriber, or whether you are one of the people who has been supporting me through all of my years of field work, educational programs, you name it. I would like to say thank you. Without you guys, I would not be having this success that I am right now. I'm absolutely blown away by how well this channel has been doing lately. I'm very grateful for it. I'm really just loving how many people I'm reaching, how many people are learning stuff from these videos. It's just a really great thing, and I'm happy about it. So thank you. Without you guys, this would not be possible. With that being said, I have a quick announcement to make. I am in Northwest Georgia, so long story short, a couple of weeks ago, I lost some absolutely insane footage due to a corrupt SD card. What I filmed was really crazy. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but I basically came home, there was no way to recover it, and I lost everything I had, and I was just devastated. So I had to just start from scratch and start filming stuff back home and just put out whatever I could for the time being. But during that time, I was watching the weather and just waiting for the opportunity to come back down here. And tonight is looking pretty similar to when I was here a couple of weeks ago. So again, I'm not going to give it away, but if I can pull this off tonight, what you are about to see will be beautiful. So yeah, stay tuned, and I will see you guys shortly. First find of the night is this big adult cave salamander out on the crawl here. Now this is really cool because it's not even dark yet. As you can see, it's still kind of dusk, probably another 20 or 30 minutes until it gets dark. But under this nice closed canopy habitat here, these guys are already out on the crawl. Notice the ridiculously long tail. This is a really good sized adult cave salamander here. And what's cool about where I just found this at is I am at the mouth of an actual cave here. Cave salamander number 1. Right here we have cave salamander number 2. And if it'll focus, right here we have a Pigeon Mountain Salamander, which is my main target species for the night. Now it is going back in there, but that's okay. There should be plenty more of these tonight. We will talk about them in a little bit as I find more. I'm just killing time here until it gets dark. It is not even fully dark yet, and right here, right outside of the mouth of this cave, we have my target species. This is the Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Now, these guys are the largest members of the genus Plethodon, along with the Yanalasi salamanders. They get much bigger and much prettier than this. This is actually a darker colored individual, which for some reason is a pretty common color variation around these caves here on this mountain. But what's unique about these guys is they are actually only found on a single slope on this one mountain here in Georgia, and they are not known to occur anywhere else in the world. But where they do occur here, they are the most abundant salamander. Now, if you come here during the right weather conditions, when it is really wet and humid, you will see these guys out climbing trees, climbing rocks all over the forest floor. And it's to the extent that you have to watch where you step anywhere you go here. So really amazing salamanders. We should be seeing plenty more of these tonight, so I will talk more about them as the video progresses and as we find some prettier individuals. But yeah, Pigeon Mountain Salamander, really cool find. This color morph right here is actually really common around these caves. You see the nice dark sides, but I'm just going to leave it to it, and as it gets darker, we should be seeing a lot more of these tonight. Next find of the night is a great example of how this species ages. Right here we have a really young baby Pigeon Mountain Salamander, and you see the pattern is not solid gold on the back yet. It's just kind of speckled. And this big adult right here beside of it on this same rock wall has more gold. Now, this adult is not as big as they can get. I have found individuals around 8 inches, some even more. So, along with the Yanalasi salamanders, these are the largest members of the genus Plethodon, so they get really large, but the most average size is 4 to 6 inches, which is really about what this individual here is. But just check out that beautiful little baby here. Again, as they age, the pattern really takes over on their back. They become almost entirely gold with the exception of a few white speckles on their side. This little guy here already has the gold on his head. But yeah, really cool to see two individuals here just side by side. There should be plenty more of these tonight, so I'm going to keep on shining and we will see what else we can find. And another Pigeon Mountain Salamander hanging out here on this rock wall. Not a huge adult yet, but still a pretty good looking average size individual just hanging out here. Here's the NC2. See the rock wall here? Yeah, I'm going to keep on shining and we'll see what we can find. And yet another beautiful little Pigeon Mountain Salamander. This one has a really nice pattern on its back here. Gorgeous little specimen just hanging out on the side of this rock. But I'm going to leave it here and keep on shining for big adults. And finally, we just got a larger adult Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Now this one is very stocky, quite a bit longer as far as its upper body goes, but you notice it has this really short tail here. This appears to have been broken off by some sort of predator. Could have been a larger Pigeon Mountain Salamander, could have even been a spring salamander. We are underneath a waterfall here, as you can hear, just right behind the splash zone, so it could have been any number of things. But yeah, this is a much larger, nicer adult pigeon here. I'm going to keep on shining and hopefully we will see some even larger individuals. Just absolutely gorgeous salamanders. Look at that pattern on the side. This is the prettiest one yet, but I promise you they get much prettier than this. So we're going to keep after it and see what we can find. And the next salamander of the night is this huge adult red salamander here out on the crawl along this stream. Now, much like the spring salamanders, these guys get really large, and a major part of their diet is other salamanders, and that often means smaller plethodonids like the Pigeon Mountain Salamanders and the cave salamanders that we have been seeing around here. That is likely what this big girl is doing out on the crawl right now. You see she is really large and slow moving. Now typically red salamanders are a lot brighter colored than this, but when they get to this size, their coloration actually fades and it can become more of a rusty brown to a purplish coloration. So the size as well as the color of this individual says that she is a very old adult. But yeah, big beautiful red salamander here along this stream. Good to see diversity here amongst all of these Pigeon Mountain and cave salamanders. I'm just going to leave her to what she is doing here and keep on shining, and hopefully we will see some big pigeons tonight. Right, here we have a pair of dusky salamanders. Now we are on Pigeon Mountain here, so I'm not 100% sure what species this is. There are a lot of undescribed members of the Desmognathus genus out there, so these could fall into that category. You see right here, the smaller individual is the female, and this big guy right here is the male. Yeah, cool salamanders. They love this little stream seepage type area here around this waterfall. So these guys are a good food source for the red salamander, like we've seen in the previous clip. So I'm going to let them get after it and keep on shining. And right here we have another large adult cave salamander, just hanging out right behind the splash zone of this waterfall here. Just chilling on the rock wall. This one's pretty low down. Typically you see them much higher here. But yeah, Another large adult cave salamander. I'm going to leave it right here on this wall and keep on shining for Pigeon Mountain Salamanders. Right here we have a massive adult Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Now this one's pattern is actually faded, so it must be a really old adult. As you can tell, it is much larger than the other ones. I have still seen them bigger than this, but this just puts it into perspective. Now some of the big ones, you see a much lighter gold pattern on them. This one is more of a rusty brown like some of the smaller ones. But still, you see the gold has completely overtaken the sides. It's an absolutely gorgeous amphibian. These are so unique, there is nothing else quite like them. This is what I came here to see tonight, a massive adult Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Not the prettiest one, but after seeing 30 something juveniles and subadults, I will take it. But I'm going to leave this big individual on the crawl here and keep on shining. Hopefully we can find one just a little bit bigger and a little bit prettier. And right here we have another gorgeous Pigeon Mountain Salamander. This is a slightly above average adult here, but really slender. Gorgeous individual. You see the gold almost overlaps. It completely covers the head. These are just really unique looking salamanders. Just this species alone is more than enough of a reason to preserve this mountain and leave the habitat as untouched as possible. They are doing very well here right now, but if any slight changes were made to this, shade, surrounding rock outcrops, anything that affects the moisture, any little thing could mess this species up. They are very specialized and well adapted to this specific habitat that they live in. I'm really hoping to see some bigger adults. I'm sure they are out somewhere. This one's pretty good size, but still pretty slender. So I'm just going to leave it to what it's doing here. Put the habitat into perspective. You see it's this nice rock wall here. And keep on shining. High up on this rock wall here, we have another adult Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Absolutely beautiful. This one is still more slender. Let's see here. Appears to be a male. Hard to tell though. This right here puts the height into perspective. I am way down here, and it is up there. Decently high up on the rock wall. It's just high enough to reach to get a clear shot of. Again, these are excellent climbers. You won't see too many other members of the genus Plethodon up this high, but still not the absolutely massive adults I was hoping for. I know they were out somewhere tonight, so I'm going to keep on searching. I know this looks like a pretty good sized Plethodon, but I have seen them much larger than this. So I'm going to leave this guy to what he is doing here and keep on shining for bigger adults. And another Pigeon Mountain Salamander out on the crawl here. This is another flawless adult. He's about to get away. Most of the bigger individuals tonight seem to be sitting on these rocks here out in the open. But we're just going to leave him to it and keep on hiking. Right here we have some more juvenile Pigeon Mountain Salamanders. Right here is number 1. Right here is number 2. And right here is number 3. And right here we have a Pigeon Mountain Salamander, Plethodon petraeus, inside an actual cave here. I am a good distance down the mountain from where I was at earlier. I'm going to zoom out. You can see I'm right at the twilight zone of a cave here. Now, where these guys do live in caves, they are never found very far past the twilight zone. Whereas the actual cave salamanders actually live pretty far back in the caves. But yeah, you see the ones here around these caves are typically darker. They have less gold coloration and more black on the sides. Really cool observation. And you see beside of it right here is the tail of an absolutely massive cave salamander. unique looking Pigeon Mountain Salamander. I'm just going to leave it in its crevice here and keep on shining this cave, and hopefully we will turn up some more interesting finds. And right here we have another darker Plethodon Petraeus here, right outside of the mouth of this cave. I'm still down here low in the limestone areas. I'm not sure why it is, but all of the individuals that hang out in and around these caves are much darker than the ones further up the mountain along that main rock wall. That would definitely be a good study one day if nobody has ever looked into that. Notice the belly, it is very black. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it in its crevice here and keep on shining. And another dark little Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Again, just hanging out outside of this cave. The habitat is quite a bit different down here. On the surface it is drier, but they do have moisture inside of the cave. You see this is more dry, pure limestone down here, a lot of karst. You can see the cave is right here. My buddy is down there filming some cave salamanders as we speak. Yeah, another little dark, I guess you could say cave variant Pigeon Mountain Salamander. I'm just going to leave it in its crevice here and keep on herping. Right here on this stick we have a little red eft. Now these are the terrestrial life stage of the eastern newt, and when it is really foggy and wet like this, they like to climb little sticks and pieces of vegetation, sometimes rock walls. They do not seem like they would be arboreal, but they can climb surprisingly well during the right weather conditions. My flash is not doing a very good job of showing this little guy here, but yeah, I'm going to leave him on his little stick and keep on shining this rock wall right here. And finally, we have a large adult Pigeon Mountain Salamander. Now again, this one is slimmer, darker brown than they can be as adults, but as you can tell by his cirri here, he is a male. If you notice the little bumps here beneath the nostrils, it's really not wanting to focus, but the males use those to pick up pheromones of females. So these guys may still be breeding. Oh, he just jumped. But yeah, good sized adult Pigeon Mountain Salamander. And right here we have another gorgeous Pigeon Mountain Salamander. This one is a much lighter gold. Really pretty, has a lot of the nice different colored speckles mixed in on the side. This appears to be a young female here. Again, not huge, but a good, clean, average sized adult. The pattern is really nice on this one. Absolutely gorgeous. Right here's a good shot of the toes. You see they are a bit different from the feet of other Plethodon. Very specialized to climbing rock formations and even trees. If you think that Aneates and Bolitoglossa are the only salamanders that climb, you are mistaken. These guys are right up there with them. Now, for those of you who are new to finding salamanders and you are wondering why I'm making such a big deal out of being out here in this fog like this, typically for fully terrestrial species, such as this salamander right here, you want to pick nights where it is pretty foggy. There's a lot of moisture in the air like this right here. Doesn't have to be pouring the rain, but humidity and fog is a huge thing, especially with the lungless salamanders, because these guys breathe through their skin and they absorb all of their water and moisture through their skin. So just that extra moisture in the air really makes them want to get out and climb around and move more. So especially with crevice dwelling species like this, it can really help tremendously as far as just seeing them out and about, not having to shine way back in rocks or really work to see them and get good footage of them. But I'm just going, here we have a decent sized adult hanging out in this crevice here. Absolutely beautiful. Now these guys are super abundant here, but when you think about it, they are still at risk, because all it would take is one rock climber or one hiker that has no idea what they are doing to, you know, track in a pathogen or a different disease, or even track in actual chytrid. And where this species is only found on this one slope, on this one mountain, and nowhere else in the world, this entire population, as big as it is, could easily be wiped out. And that would just be devastating. I mean, they would disappear quickly, and there's nothing that anybody could do about it. So this species is, you know, definitely a species of special concern. They're very high risk, and that is one of the major reasons I just preach, you know, disinfect, disinfect, disinfect. I'm not trying to be that guy, but especially when you come to a place as unique as this, you know, please spray your shoes. As if COVID-19 is not enough of a reason to be disinfecting your shoes right now. If that's not enough, then at least think of your wildlife. And, you know, it doesn't take long to spray your shoes off. So if you ever think about coming to a place like this, or somewhere that you know has another species of rare amphibians, it is definitely important to disinfect your shoes and gear. I did before I came here. I have never stepped foot on this mountain without disinfecting my shoes, because I care about this population. I love seeing these. I love all amphibians, but especially endemics like this, because if you think about it, these are adapted to living in this one habitat here, and nowhere else. You could introduce this species to anywhere else in the world, and you would not have habitat that is exactly like this, so they could not survive. You have species with wider ranges, you know, they're very adaptable. They can live in a variety of habitats. But these little endemics like this cannot. So that's what really makes these cool, is they are, you know, just completely specialized at making the most out of this one weird little habitat here, mainly along just a few small rock walls on this one slope. So really cool to see. This guy is coming back out here. Actually, this appears to be a girl. This is a really great shot here. Absolutely beautiful salamander. I'm in love every time I come here. This is the stuff that I live for. Magical nights like this where the fog is everywhere, and there are beautiful salamanders just emerging just everywhere, and it's so much that you have to watch where you are placing your feet. These are the kind of nights that I love. But yeah, I'm just going to leave this beautiful Pigeon Mountain Salamander right here in its rock crevice and keep on shining.